Oh boy.
All right. We're here. Wish we weren't, but we are. Game 3 down 0-2 in Miami today. The Celtics will look to notch their first win of the conference finals, a win that many may have thought would have come on Wednesday or perhaps Friday, and it's Sunday, and we're still here waiting. Tim, initial feelers for tonight's game. How do you feel? Are you as upset as I am?
So I am only because I feel like even even game one, which felt more of a death punch, I guess, or gut punch because of that third quarter. Both of these games have felt very winnable. And having the opportunity, even after having some lapses and screw ups, to win these games and then failing to do so is definitely discouraging. I think a lot of it has been mental. Malcolm Brogdon's accredited to that. Joe Mazzulla is also saying the same thing now too. Part of this is on Joe. It's a collective effort. It's on everybody, but part of it's on Joe. Part of it most definitely is on Jaylen Brown. A very small portion of it is on Jayson Tatum. I don't want to hold Jayson Tatum to um, too much blame on this because I think some people are getting a little bit overzealous in blaming Tatum when he's clearly by far been the best player on the Celtics. And I also don't want to blame Grant for game two because I think he's probably the only guy on the floor outside of Tatum that's shown any kind of gut and nerve. And standing up to Butler obviously wasn't easy. And none of his teammates had his back. So I kind of hated that. What's going
Yeah,
on?
I had to tweet it out, I believe yesterday. Public apology to Grant. Making fun of Grant is very fun. I made fun of Grant on the last podcast, and a lot of people saw. And I have to apologize to Grant because it's really not fair. My initial knee jerk reaction was to blame him, as was a lot of other people. And Grant did play a great game, too. The problem was they didn't win, and he set himself up to be the scapegoat while
Yep.
doing the thing that we've all been doing, or not doing, begging the team to do, which is try. He was trying, and he got in Jimmy Butler's face, as you said, and they went back and forth. And unfortunately for him, Butler scored 9 points in the last 6.5 minutes, tying the Celtics as a team. It's not exactly what you were hoping for down the stretch, but Grant, again, had a good game, 7 fourth quarter points. And did he have the last 7 for the Celtics? No, he
I
didn't.
I don't think
Because
so
Tatum
because
got fouled on
I
3.
was gonna say Tatum got some free throws if I remember correctly, but he definitely was integral, and I think it sucks. Yeah, so actually, my fiance managed to get tickets for today as well, so she's gone to not one, not two, but all three shows.
All 3.
Yeah, that is some super fan stuff. So bless her heart. Um, so every
Bless her heart.
bless her heart. It just seems crazy to me. That must be so expensive. I didn't know
Don't ask.
she didn't tell me how much this ticket was tonight, and I'm very scared to
That's a
ask.
back pocket trap card you play.
Yeah, I want to
You want
see
to go to
like
the
what
finals? Oh,
happens.
how many Taylor Swift shows did you go see?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, exactly.
Me saying finals as if they're going to be there.
You never know. You never know. Never say never.
Do the rosary a bunch of times if that's your cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hail Mary, full of grace.
But back to Grant. Finally showed some fire. Like you said, nobody backed him up. As far as Tatum goes, I think Tatum's been excellent, and people are giving Tatum a lot of crap online, nationally more than locally, I would say. The national media picking out he hasn't made a field goal in the fourth quarter yet. Yeah, that's because he's getting triple teamed. Jayson Tatum is seeing a triple team every time they cross half court. What do you want him to do? Shoot over 3 people? Absolutely not. I've been the guy giving him crap all playoffs for being poor, and he
Yep.
has been. Steps up big at the end of game 6. Obviously, game 7 record, 51 points. And he's, for the most part, carried it over into this conference finals. The problem is all these guys are still playing against Philly. They're
Yeah.
waiting for a collapse, and it's just not happening. You're putting yourself in position to win, as you mentioned earlier, Tim. They were in both of these games down the stretch. They are not a good clutch team. This is no secret. We've seen it all playoffs. It is silly of us to expect anything different, which is fair. You know, you are what you are. The problem, not only is Miami very good in close games, They're one of two teams in the playoffs to have come back from 10-point deficits in the fourth quarter. Two of them came against the Celtics. I don't know who the other team was. But the record is like 50-something and 4, and Miami has 3 of the wins. So there's that.
Yeah.
And they played a zillion clutch games throughout the regular season. If you ask anybody that follows the Heat, they'll tell you it was almost a joke. Every game managed to be close for them. So they have a bunch of practice in these situations. Of course, they're going to outplay the Celtics. That's where it's a big time disadvantage for them. The Celtics, in order to win these games, in theory, have to stomp Miami. That is the only way you can rely on them to win a game. If it's close, within 5 points in the last 4 minutes, good luck. Good luck.
Well, I think they just got to maintain leads, right? Like I think
That too.
yeah, if you don't have to worry about clutch time situations if you don't piss away leads. And that's kind of what it waters down to. That third quarter in the first game was terrible. And the Celtics again had like a big lead and managed to squander it. And I do want to say too, like I think Jimmy Butler was gonna get what he was gonna get. Like I think Grant lit a fire on him, no doubt. But I think that Jimmy Butler still would have found a way to make some kind of impact. And if he wasn't going to take out that entire lead and tie the game, he was going to help them get to that point because he is that kind of guy. Now, where I do turn some blame here, especially because of the effort in game two, I really, really was discouraged by Jalen's performance in game two. I want him to be better. He needs to be better. He needs to be better at reading these situations. One thing that I said going into this series was going to happen, and it has happened so far, is that Miami was going to throw two bodies at the Jays every single time. They're going to do it early and often in possessions to try and eat up the shot clock, eat up possessions. It sends them scrambling, and they're taking bad looks. Lewis said it earlier, but talking about locking in on defense, I agree with that, but I think it's starting with their offense first. Like Miami's a very good defensive team, and their offense is good too, but their offense is good because it's moving the ball around, swinging it around, finding open three-point shooters, and they killed the Celtics in game one on that. But I think it starts with the Celtics offense not completely pissing down their leg when it matters. Like you need to be able to actually run a successful offensive game against this team. And it really comes down to moving the ball, cutting, finding open guys. And that means not driving into four guys through contact. Like Tatum had one possession where he got through and he got a crazy bucket, but he like split the defense big time. But he knew where he was going. He knew where he was dribbling. He planned it out perfectly. I saw an exact play where Jaylen Brown did the opposite when they were up. I want to say it was 93-87, where he just drives into four guys. Literally, like the entire Miami Heat team is like just chilling within the arc, ready to stop and meet him. And he runs into like three or four guys, chucks up a terrible shot, and he's got guys out in the perimeter just waiting for the ball. And it's like, those are the kind of 3-pointers you want. What are we doing here, man?
Yeah, exactly. The whole shoot more threes. I have the bag hanging back there. Has been the thing for the Celtics all season. I am all for guys attacking the rim. I've been not shy about that at all. However, gotta say, do not love the whole driving into four guys thing with no time off the shot clock, because that's a free stop. Free stop for a team that is doing what they can to get back in a game that you're leading double digits in the fourth quarter. Instead, doesn't matter. You don't make them work. Don't make the extra passes. Everything down the stretch came quick. Everything down the stretch was forced. The Miami zone threw a wrench into things, and these guys just look scared. You have guys at the top of the key, and I really don't want to slam Tatum because I think he's been really the only consistently good one in this series. But he's having to leave his feet for whatever reason and then panic because he doesn't want to do the up down and get called for a travel. So he's just lobbing passes into the middle of the floor, making passes that aren't as crisp so Miami has time to rotate and recover. That's not how you're going to beat this Miami team. There are people that are calling for double teams, people calling for change. Well, you did get change. Derek White has appeared. It is the starting lineup. Al Horford remains, Tatum remains, Brown remains, Smart, and then Derek White replaces Robert Williams. We were having a grand old time discussing the double bigs in those last 2 games against Philly. There were moments in this series where it looked promising. I think Rob has given them a lot in terms of effort, in terms of efficiency. He hasn't missed. And even Rob was breaking the zone in the fourth quarter. Before he came out, Rob was getting the ball at the nail, one dribble into Bam and finishing. He was creating shots low, which we never see from him. And he was taken out of the game. But the Celtics do put Derek White in. It does give them more flexibility offensively. You can put 5 on the perimeter. Whether or not it's the greatest idea against a zone, in theory it should be. But these guys are NBA athletes. They're going to be able to rotate and make up for the down man on the perimeter. What do you make of the White switch, Tim? Are you happy? Are you unhappy?
I'm surprised only because I thought that they would swap out Al, but I see why they kept him because again, like you said, it gives them the ability to still space the floor. If you think that Al's mobility is going to be better than Rob's in terms of defending Bam Adebayo, then I'm with that. Or if it's an idea of having Rob come off the bench, attacking the second unit for Miami, if you think that's a better strategical advantage, then sure, by all means, do what you think is best. I'm just happy that they didn't keep it the same because it clearly wasn't working. I think double big worked against a team like Philly because they were running out, PJ Tucker. So it was a situation where they could do that. And if Phoenix, if you can send us the link or something for that, by all means, I have no doubt that that's probably the case that the plus minus for the double bigs is not good. Brian says something here that I thought was interesting. Let Jimmy get his, but got to take away Miami's others from getting into the rhythm. Yeah, I pretty much said that from the get-go too, because I think ultimately it's the 3-point shots that are getting them, and Jimmy's not the guy taking those threes. He's going to get his regardless. Put him on an island, make him do what he has to do, take away everybody else, and just neutralize that pick and roll with Bam. I think that's the way that they got to attack the defense there. And ultimately, I think that the lineup change is good. I want to see how they integrate Rob, and they need to go ahead and get Grant involved. And if Al doesn't have it and they decide to put Rob in there and they still want shooting, put Rob as the lone big and put Grant at the 4. Because at this point in time, it is beyond frustrating that we finally get minutes for him. And this is a guy who was integral in a finals run, and he looked good. I don't get why they waited this long, and it's just Joe has a very rigid coaching style, and I don't always understand it. He has the same rotation.
Not
he
very
doesn't
flexible.
change anything. It's crazy to me.
Did you see well, you probably saw it. It's part of the CLNS gig.
Mm-hmm.
He said he didn't play Derek White down the stretch because he just hadn't. That's not what he'd been doing.
I didn't see that bit, but that doesn't surprise me.
It was something like that. But going back to the double bigs would be much better and more effective if Horford could make a 3. There was the excuse looming around last series that it had a lot to do with having to try and contain Embiid, who is a massive focal point of that Philadelphia offense. Bam is absolutely a big piece of Miami's offense, but they're not running huge sets through him. He's coming off a pick and roll. You're not really having to battle him too much on post position. They're not running post ups for him very much. He's going off the drive or the roll. So I'm not sure if he's dealing with a confidence thing right now, but it'd be really super cool if Al made some threes. Bottom line there. Jared saying, so crazy people are genuinely thinking the Celtics are frauds. The Heat deserve more credit than they're getting right now. Yes, but also no. Miami is doing everything they can to win and compete. That is true. But it does not mean that both of these things cannot be true.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of pointed this out. They need consistent effort, which they're not getting, and attention to detail, which they're not getting. They see a zone and they melt. There's Exhibit A. Then they piss down their legs and Jimmy gets going. Also true. But they've pissed down their legs all postseason. It's not a new thing. You lost games 1 and 4 to Philly. I was talking to somebody about this today. That could have been a sweep. I said it on the pod, and people were getting mad. But it's true.
It was true.
That's a 4-game series if the Celtics have any kind of backbone in a close game.
Yep.
They could be up 2-0 in this series.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not a dig at Miami. People get really upset when you say stuff like that and their team's involved. We have really Doe in the chat, Heat Gang. He's been on the pod in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back and found us from last year. Did not compliment my appearance. I was very hurt. Jared says, how can anyone say this isn't a championship team? We were not in the or were we not in the finals last year? It's true, but also they're not playing like a real team. And they did do some of the similar things that they're doing now last year. They almost blew the game 7 to Miami. They were up 14 points with 3 minutes left. I thought I was going to go into cardiac arrest when Jimmy took that three. It looked like it was good. He was
Yeah.
on fire. Thank you. A lot of Sam love in the chat. McKinley saying they have to learn to break Miami's zone. That's it. It's
I
true.
tend
It's
to
been
agree
4
with that.
years.
Yeah, well, again, and I think Rob's integral for breaking that, right? And I think maybe that's why you have him come off the bench in this. And, you know, honestly, I don't know if it's a confidence thing for Al, but like you do need him to hit 3-pointers because if he's not doing that, then it's really hard for him to be impactful. Especially if you're trying to get back on defense if there's a bad turnover or a quick possession, which has been early and often. Yeah, cheers to that, Gear. And I just think overall the Celtics have been panicky. I think, rather a bad shot with 7 seconds less in the shot clock than a panicked pass. I also tend to agree with that. I think they're becoming incredibly predictable with their passing. In the game where they had a complete meltdown, you had those rough passes, one from Tatum and then I think one from Smart, both of them that got picked by Jimmy. Actually, one of them was from Al. It was when Al got the offensive rebound, was in the corner, and he should have just taken a second and instead like passes it out and Jimmy just picks it off. Like this is what this team does. This is a very experienced Miami team. And again, what you said, Sam, I don't think this is you can say they're not mutually exclusive when you say that this is a very good Miami Heat team. They took down the Bucks, who didn't apparently either weren't up to the challenge or didn't take them seriously, but they have done this throughout the playoffs. They've gone through and they've taken tough games, locking down the Knicks. Granted, the Knicks didn't have the best offense or anything, but like they forced Jalen Brunson into, a game-ending turnover. Like they are in that moment. Landon, do I know Electric Wizard? I do not. And Lewis, I agree. Stay away from ISO. And I think the motivation is here, right? I think the motivation is the fact that you lose this game, you're down 3-0, you have zero wiggle room. This is the first time you get a chance to go into their building and punch them in the teeth. And you have to do that. Like tonight is a statement win if you do it, and it's going to swing some momentum back your way. If you come out of Miami with a tie series 2-2 and you make this a best of 3, it's a whole new ball game. And I think the Celtics really need that. Like I think one confident win tonight would do wonders, and you got to wake up. And yeah, championship level, but not championships, RJ. Yeah, I mean, or not champions. Look, they were there. They were going against an experienced team. And again, it comes down to experience. This is where having an inexperienced rookie head coach and Joe Mazzulla really, really hurts you. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I know, Jimmy J. They're 5-0, but they also they they damn near swept the Bucks and they took the Knicks to 6. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me that they're 5-0. More
I'll,
so,
I'll
yeah.
swing back to Miami in just a sec.
Oh,
Liam
you
in
gotta
the
let your
chat.
parlay. Yeah.
What's the parlay? Not a parlay, not a smart way to bet. However, kind of fun way to bet. The playoff pregame pick presented by Smash the Odds, if I can find it. At Smash Odds on Twitter, daily free picks for you to play. Make yourself some money. And if you want to make more money, subscribe to the premium service and get all the picks. Today's pick, Celtics -4.5. To which I reply, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700 and get some help. If you're putting money on the Celtics, I don't know what to tell you. People are
Yeah.
asking me to make predictions, and I'm like, dude, I'm not predicting anything. I don't trust them. There's nothing you can really, there's no trend. There's nothing to point out. Before last game, you'd be like, well, when they get like punched in the mouth, usually they respond. Celtics not big on the mouth punching. Like you said, you mentioned the Miami team. Miami did, in fairness to them and their seeding and whatever, dealt with a ton of injuries in the regular season. Lowry missed a big chunk of time. Butler missed a fair amount of games. I believe Bam even had to miss a little bit of time. Of course, in the playoffs, they've seen Hero go down, Oladipo go down. They've been through all of it, and all these guys just keep stepping up. So credit to them. Obviously, Spoelstra is a mastermind, and we've seen his zone just come out and strangle these guys. Not fun.
Yeah. And woof, Jared. And yeah, Lewis, I think you do have to go home too. Going
Yeah,
back
Pope
home
Catholic.
3-1. Yeah. I mean, you have to do that swing. And yeah, Lewis, I think the idea is to definitely take it one game at a time. I think overreacting after that, would just not do well. Oh, guys, you have to say that stuff now legally when you're doing any kind of gambling. You
Well,
have
it's
to
not
get the
even that.
helpline.
I don't know if you can bet on the Celtics. I would not advise it.
Oh no, probably not in terms of speaking. Yeah, McKinley said this earlier. Jaylen Brown has to play better, and if not, Al's not doing good. You need to play Rob in the fourth. Yeah, and I think not having Rob in the fourth last game, I think that also screwed them up because he was their best rebounder. They're
Well, he was the best guy in the fourth until he wasn't playing anymore. He
yeah,
was breaking
because
the zone.
Joe actually has like one of those little timers where he's like, okay, everyone reached their minutes. Okay, you're gonna
Yeah.
sub out. Like we sub you out at this mark every single fourth quarter, and that's it. Like that's all you're gonna get. And it's look, I get he's trying to keep some kind of semblance of structure, but at the same time, that's not how you coach in the playoffs. It's not how you coach a game. Yeah, you gamble with your blood pressure. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. It feels like that, especially in these first two games. Um, game one, especially. That's an important question, Andrew. Will Brad Stevens blow it up? It. I'm not going to say anything's off the table at this point, but I think if they do, it's going to be more of their tertiary players. Like I don't think they're going to move on from Brown unless something crazy comes along. I just don't see that happening. Or if he turns down the supermax, then that opens the door for that. The only thing I could see them doing is maybe moving on from one of Brogdon or White, and maybe you make some kind of uh, maybe they put some kind of deal around either Rob or Al. You have to consider something with that. And yeah, no, look, I don't think getting Dame is going to help Jared. Like, I think he's great. I think he's a fantastic player. Would I be happy depending on what the package was going out for Dame? Sure, because he's a very exciting marquee player. He's one of the best point guards in the league. He also has not done anything. Um, he's made a bunch of all-star games. He's hit some very clutch shots, but he has not put himself in the best position to win a championship. And I think at his age, like you want to go younger. And the cost is going to be for him too, like not just in terms of assets, but like the actual money. Like he's getting paid a stupid amount of money.
I don't think Missoula can be gone. We talk about this all the time now
Yeah.
because it is a true point of contention. If you're the Celtics, you just can't roll out your fourth head coach in 4 seasons. If you fire Missoula, you just can't do it.
They just promoted him. I think they screwed up by doing that too early because it limits their options.
This is on Dame from Jared. I was joking, but he's not really rattled by pressure like the Celtics have shown to be. It's a fair point.
That's true.
Also,
That
in
is
fairness to
true.
Damian Lillard, they did make the conference finals, but they played the KD Warriors. So
Yeah,
that's a big ask.
Yeah, it is a huge ask.
Jared would like to know if Missoula can unretire and become the backup point guard. It's a fair ask. He went to high school down the street from my house.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yep. Let's see. Lewis thinks if anyone's move, it's going to be White. Sad to say, but his contract is good. I don't know. I think they just brought in White, and I really hate to talk about all this because one, the Celtics still have to lose 2 games. As terrible as this all feels. So I think I'm going to try and save as much of this as I can because if they do lose the next 2 games, Jack and I have to do shows all summer. We got to talk about something. So we'll save it up. As far as Miami goes, they are a great home team. They've showed that they can play in this half-full arena. For whatever reason, it's a better home court than the Garden. The Garden and the Celtics they're really great hosts. In fairness to them, they're great. They welcome guests into their home, and they even let them take some goodies home, like playoff wins.
Yeah, hot towel treatment too. Love hot towels. Pregame hot towel.
Speaking of hot towels, Miami's rally towels beat Boston.
Yeah.
He says the traffic is bad in Miami. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like in Miami, they have to have like a mix of boats and cars to get around. Kind of like Venice.
Riding a giant alligator into the stadium.
Landon says Celtics don't care about the fans. Feels like it sometimes.
Sometimes.
Jared says Celtics fans ride the emotions for good or bad. It's true. Yeah. Literally, if they win tonight, Jack and I will come on the pod and we'll be like, all right, like they have a chance. Eyeball emojis all open. Celtics are back. It's literally the meme I'll tweet it all the time of the cycle. It's over. It's so over. We're back. We're so back. And it's just an endless cycle.
It's over. Yep. Pretty much every game, actually.
It's true.
Sometimes it cycles through to other games. So like we'll end on like we're so back, and then it starts off and it's like we're so bad.
So sometimes it's just up and down.
Yeah, the entire night, and that's really where you need like blood pressure medication, especially if it just ends up going that way the entire match. I will say this too. Someone mentioned Derek White being on the move. I know for a fact, or at least rumors are out there about Malcolm Brogdon and the Phoenix Suns having interest. There was some kind of radio show. I was looking. This
Perhaps
was literally
KD?
no.
Well, that's the only way I'm doing it.
I don't know what it would be, but I know that they are interested potentially in him as a replacement for Chris Paul if they decide to move on from Chris Paul. So yeah, you never know. Hopefully, Jack's having a good time tonight. Was he going?
Jack is not having a good time tonight.
He's not.
I'm
He's
sure
not
we'll
going
talk about it
willingly?
when we record later. He said, let's see. I'll read some messages I've gotten from Jack. Nothing too crazy will be read. Don't worry if Jack is getting word of I'm about to read text messages. Don't worry. Jack says, it is the opening act. My ears are gone. A couple minutes later, let's see.
Is it too loud?
Yeah, it's way too loud.
Old man.
He goes, she just came out. It's so loud. Oh my God. Jack, who told me, hey, I may watch the game on my phone, and if it gets close, put in AirPods. And then I told him, your AirPods are not going to stand a chance, to which he replied, they have noise cancellation. And then I went and mowed my lawn and had to have my AirPods on max volume with noise cancellation to be able to hear my stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be barely
He's
able
not
to hear
hearing
it.
much.
He won't hear much, no.
I'm with this.
No.
Jack is not sensitive. Be nice to Jack. I'm being sensitive for Jack.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Wow. I mean, he's already got it tough enough, right?
Poor guy. He's just in a stadium full of people I probably wouldn't want to be around.
I mean, is he actually a Taylor Swift fan, or is he just going because of Zoe?
His family went.
His whole family went.
Yeah, this has been planned. Miraculously, they got tickets. Remember when they went on sale at like Crash Ticketmaster and everything?
Yeah.
We talked about this on the pregame before. I truly just don't get the infatuation with Taylor Swift. She's fine. I don't dislike Taylor Swift. But the sheer like craze people have is like, if you listen to her music, are there like messages in the back if you play it backwards that are hypnotic?
I don't know. I've never tried it. I'm actually
they were out at 2:30 in the morning for merch on Thursday, and she wasn't even doing a show.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Ratliss? I don't know. We'll see later. Sam looks like a guy I worked with. Probably not. Bing Uncle Dan void in the chat today. It's true. He only comes in for Jack.
That's
hurtful.
mean.
Max says, any method of first basket ideas for the game? I saw somebody say Horford dunk wins you a lot of money. Plus 1,800 or 18,000 rather. Now, off the top of my head, I can tell you the last time Horford dunked a basketball. But that's only because he did that stupid shimmy after, and then they lost game 4 against Philadelphia.
No, that shimmy was cool. That shimmy was cool, man. He did that in Florida when he went to school.
It's true. It's true. Really says, game going to start. See you after another Heat dub. I sure hope you're wrong. It's hurtful.
I don't know if it's a guaranteed Celtics L, because technically he's been here both times and they lost both times.
Well,
right?
Mr. Simone is also a Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Who knows?
Like, all of them are there.
Maybe there'll be some power and energy coming from that. We'll see.
All right.
You never know.
Tim, any last words?
No, it sounds so morbid to say it like that, but no. Go Celtics.
Yes.
That's it.
Well, thank you very much for listening and watching. I was going to say or watching. I'm such a robot. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Hit the old notification bell. You'll get to see Jack. I'm sure we're going to talk about Taylor Swift at some point tonight. He went. So if you care about that, you'll get that at 5 a.m. in your inbox. If not, make sure you leave us a like, leave comments. We are here before every game, half hour. Sure hope there's some more games. All right.
Here's hoping, man.
That's it for us. Bye.
Cheers.